Hello, I'm Miles Thompson, Accountancy Europe President.
And I'm Mark Vassen, Deputy President.
Welcome to our video annual report, where we'll be walking you through the highlights of our work this year.
2022 turned out to be yet another surprising year. Right as we were finally opening up our economies after the pandemic, war erupted in Europe. And as a result, we saw energy crisis emerging, with soaring inflation, providing new challenges to households and businesses alike. The energy crisis also underlines the need for a rapid transition to energy sources that mitigate the ongoing climate crisis.
Together with our members, we at Accountancy Europe continue to focus our work on one question: how can the European accountancy profession support the efforts of policymakers and markets to manage these crises? This is why sustainability continues to top our strategic agenda and has been interwoven in all our areas of work. In a moment, you'll hear about what we accomplished as part of our main work streams in 2022. We of course also continue our efforts on digitalisation, the public sector and professional ethics.
2023 will bring new challenges. Society and the profession must be ready for whatever comes. And across 35 countries, all member bodies help ensure that professionals on the ground can adapt to new requirements and expectations. Accountancy Europe is here to support this process.
Let's now see what the team has to say about our work this year.
Welcome to Accountancy Europe. Let's go meet the team.
Our big theme for 2022 was SME's twin digital and sustainable transitions. On the former, we developed a cyber resilience checklist for SMEs. It's designed to be used by both SMEs and their accountants, and can also be used directly by the accountants for their own accounting practice. We also produced a paper and the checklist together with the EU IPO on the relevance of intellectual property for SMEs. The paper argues that IP registration can help build overall business resilience in SMEs. On sustainability, we held in January a big event on EU's green recovery, and one of the key topics covered was SME's green transition. This was followed by a dedicated event on SME sustainability in November. This event brought together representatives from accounting, banking, SME and capital market backgrounds to discuss SME support needs. And as a follow-up to this event, we published a set of policy recommendations for policymakers to support SME's sustainable transition. And finally, we continued our work on the audits of less complex entities, and to this end, we responded to the IAASB's consultation on the topic with the help of a dedicated expert task force.
In 2022, for corporate reporting, we focused our work in two pillars: sustainability and financial reporting. First, on sustainability, we continued to support international and European standards. Therefore, we responded to 13 ESRS consultations and 2 consultations from the International Sustainability Standards Board. In 2022, EFRAG also finalized their governance reform. We are represented in all 3 of their boards: the Sustainability Reporting Board, the Admin Board, and the Financial Reporting Board.
On financial reporting, we continued to work on significant projects. We responded to the ISB exposure draft subsidiaries without public accountability. We have held several calls with EFRAG to exchange views and to provide our input on projects such as IFRS 9 post-implementation review, intangibles, dynamic risk management, IS1 amendment, supplier finance arrangement, etc.
We started 2022 with responding to the European Commission's consultation on corporate reporting, which looked at audit as one of the pillars. Our response highlighted the importance of this holistic approach and presented what could be done to improve the quality of the 3 pillars: corporate reporting, audit and supervision. We then issued publications that show the EU audit legislation implementation in Europe. These publications included our proposals to streamline the implementation, for example on mandatory audit firm rotation, public audit oversight regimes, and definition of public interest entities. Then we specifically looked at audit quality and its indicators. Our fact sheet gives an overview of different AQI initiatives in Europe and beyond. We also held a webinar to get further insights about selected initiatives. Digital reporting and assurance are the future. This is why we've been closely monitoring SF-related developments from the outset. We brought together experts in a webinar to discuss lessons learned from SF experience that should pave the way for digital sustainability reporting and assurance. Finally, we responded to several IAASB and ISB consultations. International standards on auditing and the code of ethics are the cornerstones of our profession, and we are glad to be able to contribute to their development.
In 2022, EU policymakers reached an agreement on the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. This marked a historic moment for corporate reporting, as sustainability reporting was put at the same level as financial reporting for the first time ever. With skeptics busy at Accountancy Europe too, we followed the EU negotiations on the CSRD very closely. This included an online debate bringing the European Commission and of course other stakeholders to discuss the ongoing developments. And as the CSRD introduces more detailed reporting rules and assurance obligations, we published a set of FAQs covering these key changes. The CSRD introduces an EU-wide limited assurance requirement on sustainability reporting. We discussed with our sustainability experts possible practical implications of this new requirement and issued a discussion paper to share those insights from practice. We debated those matters with EU and international stakeholders representing policymakers, standard setters, business, investors, and of course the accountancy profession at our online interactive workshop, bringing over 200 participants.
To prepare for the upcoming legislation on CSDD, we met with the European institutions to share our expertise. Our main messages focused on having explicit support for SMEs, maintaining a level playing field for due diligence verification, and setting minimum quality standards for verification providers. We also collaborated with industry stakeholders and NGOs, sharing a joint statement and expressing our support to the new legislation. Audit Committee's role in ESG was another key topic for us. We issued a publication looking into the Audit Committee's expanded ESG responsibilities as set out in the new CSRD. We also held an event where stakeholders from different backgrounds exchanged views on how audit committees can contribute to implementing sustainability aspects in businesses. We contributed to the review of the G20 OECD principles on corporate governance. We welcome the progress they have made, modernizing the corporate governance principles, and encourage the high level of ambition.
Benjamin Franklin famously said, "In this world, nothing is certain except death and taxes." But this year, little was certain in European tax policy. The European Commission announced and initiated a lot of new tax initiatives, and the EU reached an agreement on the Pillar 2 directive in the last days of the year. One of our main contributions was to the Commission's public consultation on tax enablers, the so-called SAFE initiative. This initiative is a direct consequence of the October 2021 Pandora Papers. Unfortunately, the consultation did not provide any clear scope or path forward. We were quite critical of the consultation itself, but provided useful input on the policy issues and options. One option proposed was a code of conduct for tax advisors. We organised a useful three-way meeting with the Commission and IESBA's Tax Planning Task Force to discuss proposed amendments to the ethical code for accountants. Additionally, we completed the first phase of our Sustainable Tax Systems project on environmental taxes. This culminated with an event with high-level speakers from the Commission and the European Parliament. Look out for future instalments covering other key megatrends affecting taxation.
The forthcoming EU AML reforms were a key theme guiding our work. We replied to the Commission's consultation on new AML legislative package and engaged with policymakers and other stakeholders. We emphasized the need to ensure the Commission's proposals can be implemented effectively also for the non-financial sector. We met with the Commission's Deputy Head of Financial Crime Unit to discuss the profession's role in AML. Earlier in the year, at an event organized by the EPFSF, our AML Working Party Chair presented the profession's views on AML package. We also organized a hybrid event on AML reforms. The representatives from the Parliament and the Commission also joined the discussion. The event's key focus was on how to best implement the future AML legislation. Our AML Working Party members also met with Europol representatives. They discussed how the profession can support the successful implementation of sanctions in the context of the war in Ukraine. They also explored how the profession can help tackle the circumvention or violation of sanctions.
Thanks for watching our video annual report. Make sure to check out the rest of our work that we did in 2022 on this webpage. And of course, follow us on social media.